Spamming support units is like investing in Dogecoin. We spend our hard-earned money to win big before losing everything. This video discusses what makes the Tier 0 units viable. The effectiveness of a unit depends on its combat stats and cost. Typically, Tier 0 units such as PIO or engineers are in the support roles. Per squad, they have less HP and smaller squad size, making them squishier and dealing less damage compared to the main lines. However, they provide utilities and abilities other than combat. For example, Scout and Engineers have double detection range. Pioneer and Engineers can also upgrade with weapons such as Flamethrower and Grenade Launcher. However, the support units can do decently well in combat when considering individual models. For instance, a Panzer PIO have a similar DPS to a Panzer Grenadier at mid-range. Meaning, two squads of Panzer PIO have similar combat power to a squad of Panzer Grenadier. In general, Tier 0 units have higher upfront costs and longer build time compared to main lines. For example, it costs 400 manpower and 60 seconds to build two squads of Panzer PIOs, whereas a squad of T-Gren costs only 300 manpower and takes 25 seconds to build. This gives the Panzer Grenadiers more combat power in a shorter time. However, two squads of Panzer PIO cost 2 manpower per minute, less than a squad of Panzer Grenadiers. In addition to costing less manpower to reinforce per model. Additionally, having more squads gives us more capturing power, allowing us to gain more resources to take up faster. Also, some support units with SMG are effective against ultra-light vehicles. For example, USF engineers are very effective against that ultra-lights due to their DPS and timing. The engineer's DPS against light vehicles is significantly higher than against infantry. This is because the SMGs have lower accuracy, but they also have higher potential damage. Vehicles have much larger target sizes, allowing the SMG to deal more damage at their maximum potential DPS. For example, the engineer's grease gun has an accuracy of 0.265 at mid-range, or a 26.5% chance to hit a unit with a target size of 1. However, when firing at a Krat or a 250, the hit chance is over 100%. Even accounting for moving penalties, the hit chance is still higher than 100%. The only thing that has an impact on the DPS is the engagement distance, because the gun takes longer time to fire and the bursts are shorter at longer ranges. But the moving penalties do not have significant impact when firing at vehicles. In short, The support unit opening gives us more map control and are cheaper to maintain, allowing us to take up and get the higher tier units quicker. One of my favorite belts is the Paratech Skip belt. The core of this belt uses the core-in units from the airborne battle group and goes straight to the tier 4 units like the Sherman or the Dozer by 12 minutes. This belt has two different opening variations. When we expect our opponent to invest heavily in infantry, we choose the Pathfinders. First, we place 3 belt orders for Scout Squads, which has significantly shorter belt time than the Pathfinders. Depending on the map control, we might need 1 or 2 engineer squads. If we expect the opponent to invest in ultralight vehicles, we get 2 or 3 engineer squads instead of the Pathfinders. We should at least keep 2 of the engineer squads together to reach the critical mass. When facing the 250, we don't need to charge in because the 250 doesn't deal a substantial damage to our infantry when they're in cover. And the engineers can burst down the 250 if it wants to close in to negate the cover bonuses. Holding the territory and not bleeding is crucial because it allows us to call in the para sooner. The goal is to reach one command point as soon as possible to spawn in the paratroopers. The paratroopers will be our main line units throughout the game. This is due to the fact that the support units don't have enough HP and models to tank the damage. The timing to call in the paratrooper is critical. How quickly we can unlock the para depends on how well we trade and the frequency of the engagements. Sometimes our opponents play passively or we have bad engagements. In these cases, we have to spam tier 0 buildings because each of these buildings generates us a quarter of a CP. The priority should be medical tent, weapon support center, and then the barrack. As for the tech upgrades, any of the 3 support centers is a good choice. The ASC offers the AoE damage core-ins to compensate for the lack of RT units. The MSC allows us to upgrade our tanks, mainly the Shermans. Having Shermans with canister shot upgrade by 12 minutes is devastating because the opponent is likely to only have a single AT gun by that time. A single AT gun is not sufficient in fencing off a Sherman. In the late game, the 76 Sherman can fend off a Brumba from diving in because it has enough penetration. The ISC gives us upgrades for our infantries along with access to the captain squad. The best thing about the ISC are the discount for reinforcement, which improve our manpower economy, and the captain's mark vehicle ability. After the 1.8, the USF has been struggling to deal with 300 armor vehicles, and the captain can fill up the differences. These two benefits makes the ISC my favorite. However, the other 2 support centers are still viable choices. The Paratech Skip belt has always been a viable choice since patch 1.0, and I think we should revisit it, since the engineer buff in the last 2 patches really gave the belt an option to deal with the ultralight